Okay, hi, I'm Nick. Welcome to the Painter's Mess. Sorry that I have this giant microphone in front of me. I don't know what else to do because I've never done this before. So today, I had my first painting class at my local game store, Fantasy Books and Games in O'Fallon, Illinois. It was a lot of fun, and I really want to share that experience and share kind of what I learned from that because I really enjoyed it. And I have a few takeaways that I want to share with the community, whoever feels like this might benefit them or not. I really hope it does in some way. So, first of all, for the few people that did show up, I only had 5 people, which is perfectly fine for the first class that I've ever taught. And it was fantastic. So, a few of the people that were there, I know work. Are consistent painters who have armies who have been playing for years and like to play Warhammer and have been painting for a while. But the fact that they even took their time and their well spent money well spent, money that I believe was well spent, and threw it at me to assist them in painting something and give them critiques and help them learn something new. First of all, it is so heartwarming and heartfelt, and I feel very appreciative and I feel very honored that first I was even asked to paint, to teach a class, but also for people to show up. So like 5 people is fantastic, and that was great, and I cannot wait to do more because I feel that I have so much more to help people, help teach and help learn. So it was so much fun. It was really exciting, and I was super excited about it. And I'm so glad that I had 5 people show up to a class that I didn't think anybody would show up to. So thank you for, if you guys ever see this, I am so appreciative, and I just thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do appreciate it. So the next thing is I want to talk about a few key points that I learned just from this experience. And this happened, I got home 4 hours ago, 3.5 hours ago. So this is all very fresh and new, and I don't want to lose this, so I'm trying to record this now. So one of the first parts was it started at noon, and I got there at 11:45 to set up. Not knowing how many people were there or were going to show up, I imagined it was going to be between 5 and 10. 15 minutes to set up is not enough time because you have to assume that everybody does not have everything that they need. So they don't have their brushes, they don't have pallets, they don't have water cups, they don't have a place to sit. And we were in a large room that had a lot of tables and chairs, but they're in rows. So long 6-foot tables in 6-foot rows. So it wasn't conducive to me walking around and checking everybody's painting. It was more conducive to sitting down and relaxing and talking and chatting. So I think next painting class, I would like to change the way that the tables are set up and also have all of those things prepared. So have red Solo cups full of water for everybody, have a placemat, have a hobby holder or a mini holder or whatever, maybe some pallets out. I had even bought plastic plates that I forgot to bring for pallets. So having those things set up would be so much more beneficial. So if you ever do intend to do a paint class, I highly recommend getting there an hour to maybe a half hour early, depending on how fast you can get set up, to get all of those things going. Everybody did show up early, so it was nice that everybody was there, but I was also running back and forth getting water for everyone. And since it was just me, I was making sure that everybody was ready. Number 2, have a plan. So I did have a plan. I had a loose plan. I had written some notes in my notebook that was kind of my outline, and it was very basic and very generic. I did write some scribbles on the margin of things I thought about asking after I gone on to the next section. And I had started typing all of that up prior to the class, but I did not finish it. I would highly recommend getting all of that finalized, even if it is just loose bullet points, because when we are sitting there in front of people, and I've done my fair share of training in front of people and all of these other things in my military career, you can still jump around. And even in this video, I'm doing it and I'm recording to a singular phone, which nobody else is in this room. So you can jump around and lose focus and lose kind of the goals of what you're trying to say and what you're trying to accomplish. So having that outline is very beneficial to a solid training environment. Specifically being able to point out your training objectives or your methods, being able to go in a linear fashion and making sure that you're hitting all of those bullet points that you want to talk about, and then going on to the next one and progressively doing those in a short amount of time to where you can give people the most time for their buck, right? I think that I was pretty close to my goal of how long I wanted to talk about the couple methods that we were doing, and then how long we sat and painted for, and how often I went around and looked at everybody else's models, because I was trying to also paint, but not paint to a heavy extent to have a finalized product. I wanted them to have the finalized product, so I was giving them the attention instead of focusing on what I was painting. And I used what I had, the models I had in front of me, for examples, more of those small steps in between the final product, but also in a couple of the spots that I did do a finalized product just to show them what they were going for and what the goal was. So having that outline is very beneficial, and being able to stay on track with your time management and that outline is also very beneficial to a conducive class. So number 3, I would say this falls more into the administrative part. So something that I came across that I had no idea, because I've never done this before, was about the payment. So I only charged everybody $20. I felt like that was a perfect amount of money to help support me, but also fund the 3D printing and the time that it took for me to 3D print some models for them and prep them for them. So everybody got to walk away with at least 2 3D printed models that I had printed, that I got the permission of the company to print and give away these models. So everybody walked away with 2 miniatures, as well as all of the class training, and it was $20. So there was another class that happened maybe a month ago in our store, and the guy charged 20 to 25. I couldn't remember what it was. I wanted it to be less so that it was more enticing for more people, which 5 people showed up. Perfect. That's great. So I think it was a pretty fair amount of attendance fees, but I also need to take that a step further, which is you need to verify that everybody paid. Now, luckily for me, everybody knew that it was a paid event and they all paid. But when I went back to discuss the payment from the store, I had no idea if everybody paid, and they actually accidentally didn't give me the full payment, which is perfectly fine. I talked to them about it. I talked to a couple of the other people about it, and there are no hard feelings on that. They're going to give me the full payment that I was due, as far as my fees, my I don't want to say commissioning fees, but like the what I earned from doing the class, they're paying all that back. So it was an accident, but I definitely felt that wasn't, it was on me because I didn't check. So you need to check to make sure everybody pays, because in the end it is your class. It's not their class. They don't have to do anything for you other than, publicize it if they want to. It's up to you. So take matters into your own hands and actually do the administrative things that nobody else wants to do or thinks about, but make sure that, your customers pay, or your attendees pay, the dues and the fees, and make sure that everything's agreed upon and everything is all set up correctly to when you finalize all of that. So definitely administratively, you want to make sure that you are in the green to go. The other thing is with, and I forgot to mention this with the first thing, is the setting up the table. I had a preview or a small presentation of using an airbrush and doing some painting with an airbrush and how you can do that with what the class was about. And I didn't have a location to do that, so I had to scramble at the end to find a spot really quick I could plug my air compressor in and do this little presentation. So that falls kind of under the setup time, and administratively I should have been like, oh, I need a spot for an airbrush to plug in for just a short amount of time and have that location set up. So having those tables and chairs and discussing with the store and the owners and all of that who are running the event, to have that administratively set up and physically set up. So it kind of ties 1 and 3 together. And last but not least, 4. This is probably the most beneficial thing that I have learned from this experience is I love painting for the sake of painting. I have plenty of armies that I'm working on, here and there when I have time. I have plenty of board games that have miniatures that I have to work on. I have D&D minis that I have to work on, but I have display models that I want to paint for competitions and all those other things. But one thing that I do have, or that this helps me see, is just the enjoyment of painting with others. So a lot of this hobby is solo. A lot of it is sitting in a dark room with a blinding light, facing down, painting a model while you listen to a podcast or listen to an audiobook or watch YouTube videos, or I don't know, put on anime or something and put on a movie, and you're not interacting with other people, you're not getting feedback. And I think the biggest lesson here was that was probably one of the most fun things that I've done, minus going to Adepticon, because I'm sitting there with people who are genuinely wanting to paint and learn a new skill, and I'm helping them do that just by giving them critique and giving them examples. And if it came down to it and we had more time and it wasn't just a class, I would love to sit with those people and just paint models and talk and just go back and forth. And I feel that just even that little bit of social interaction within the hobby is lost if you don't find a place to do it or you don't feel comfortable doing it. And I understand very much that people are introverted and they could be socially awkward or don't know what to say. And I am very much that person. I mean, this is the first video I'm really making, and I'm talking to a camera, and I feel silly. So, and I tell my wife all the time, like, if we have something planned, I have 100% anxiety until I leave to go do that thing. I think about all of the people I'm going to have to interact with, the people I'm going to have to see, to talk to, and like, do I smell? Do I stink? Does my breath stink? Like, I have so much anxiety just to do a very social, normal thing, like go to the store, that even preparing for something that I enjoy is also anxiety like driven and taxing, and emotionally taxing and mentally taxing. And it wasn't until I got there and everybody was sitting down and I was going over these things that I know that I wanted to talk about, and then seeing the reaction on their face when they started to understand what I was doing and what I was saying, and they were doing it themselves, that I was like, this is the best part about it. I'm seeing people learn something that I'm actively teaching, and I'm having so much fun doing it. So if you can, and if you have the opportunity and you have friends that enjoy the painting process, that like to do these things, go out and paint with them. Go out and have a night where you just sit and talk and paint, or throw on a YouTube video or throw on something and just chill out and paint, because it's fun. Enjoy that process. Go out and go have a painting session with friends or people that you know at your local store. Even like ask. I know that's a very can be very intimidating to even go ask if your store does painting sessions or if you wanted to host one. There's a gentleman that does every other Sunday at our store, and he does more of the beginner stuff, and he was even at my class doing the more advanced painting techniques. So I do want to say that painting with people, no matter what, where they are in their hobby journey, is extremely fun and enjoyable, and I highly recommend doing it. I highly recommend putting yourself out there just a little bit to sit and paint with people and learn something new. And I fully intend to reach out to more hobbyists in Discord channels, in Patreons, and on YouTube, just to get that critique and to have those hobby hangouts, because I really want that to be part of this community and the community that I would like to build within this, on this YouTube channel. So if you enjoy that process, if you enjoy going to classes and painting and doing that, I would love to hear your thoughts, or if you've sat down and had those painting classes, or if you've done one yourself. What are some other tips and techniques and tips and tricks that you would like to share with everybody else in the hobby? Please comment down below. This is obviously a very free form conversation. I'm just recording this. I'm going to throw it up as unedited as possible. So if you have any critiques, any tips and tricks, put them down below. If you like this kind of content, this is like my first video. So if you want to see more, if you want to know kind of like what I taught, I would love to go over it. I would love to go over the outline that I prepared. Please let me know in the comments down below. Please, if you can in any way, support this channel by subscribing or liking, even just liking this video. It helps the algorithm, because I don't know anything about the algorithm at this point in my life. So my name's Nick, and I don't know what even else to say at this point. So I'm gonna open up this little thing. I have a list of things that I might say as like a tagline. So let's go with those are all like beginning things. I didn't say any of those. So my name's Nick. This is the Painter's Mess. Embrace the mess. Go paint one mini at a time. That's one of them. Cool. If you like that, great. Let me know in the comments. Have a good one. See ya. Bye.